What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Pastor Keenan and his sidekick, the hostess with the mostest, Nick. What's happening, my man?
Oh, everything is great. Everything is, I can't even think of the word. I'm glad.
Is it?
I'm happy.
Is it?
I'm trying. Yeah, ecstatic.
I was going to say, is it so good? Is life so well for you right now, man?
That you can't even, my words away.
Yeah. Take my breath away. I'm sorry, man. I know that I should have been. I was going to say I should have been the choir director on top of preaching. I know that. I understand that, but I can only do so many jobs at one time, Nick. Either way.
Hey, I just got to stop acting so depressed, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got to bring it up a notch, man. Like, you got to bring it up. You got to hook that charger into the wall and plug it into, like, your underarm or something, man. Get charged up for Jesus.
Hey, energy drinks aren't working, I guess.
Well, that one's not working. You need a lot more caffeine than, I don't know what you've got
160 milligrams.
Oh, absolutely. See, these are babies, and I'm drinking 200. I'm just saying, So, anyways, we thank you guys for tuning in to the Everyday Christian Podcast, and for supporting us for just giving us shout outs and all of that good stuff. We're about 30 episodes deep now, and we're thankful for that. And as always, you can connect in with us on Facebook at Fruition Church, YouTube at Fruition Church of Hodgenville. You can always check out our website at www.fruitionchurchky.org, and you can always download our podcast across all major platforms. And Nick, man, we were talking about this earlier. We just came off of our kids' Takeover service last Sunday, so we don't really have a message to talk about tonight except for that message and how wonderful the kids done. But we're also going to kind of tune into this Sunday's message coming up because it's our 5-year celebration. And, 5 years in the ministry, 5 years of Fruition Church, 5 years of God doing some great things and continuing to doing the miraculous. And so let's just talk about that service that took place on Sunday with the kids, man. The kids basically done everything from beginning until end. They done the opening, they done the singing, they done the tithes, and they done the preaching, they done, basically everything, man. And how refreshing and humbling was it to be able to watch our young kids get up there on stage, man, and do what they do. And, how good was it just to not listen to me yell for a Sunday, right? Come on now.
That was the best part. No,
yeah, right? But, that was number one, right?
No, but it was awesome. And I think we sometimes forsake what kids can do, and I think sometimes we get so caught up in the who is supposed to be on stage and who is supposed to be doing this and who's supposed to be doing that, and I think there's a lot of people out there who we said, oh, we're going to let kids do it all. They're going to be like, you're going to hell. Yeah, and I think it's
what if somebody was misled in that service or
right?
something?
And I think it's crazy to think how many Christians would have actually fought us on doing something like that.
Right.
But I think the important part is that we did it. And it was awesome.
Right.
I'm talking, goosebumps, cold chills, while they were singing down there. The Holy Spirit was there, even though it wasn't adults preaching, it wasn't adults singing. I think it was awesome. It was a really cool experience. I was sitting up there helping one of our kiddos help move the slides and get the timing and everything right, and she honestly did better than other people.
Man, you gonna throw your father-in-law under the bus? Is that what you're doing? Man, I tell you what. Well, he is a 98% of the time slide person. You know what I'm saying? Besides when he takes vacation every other Sunday. Oh, we're taking stabs at people tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody's safe. But yeah, either way, it was a really great service. Our kids done an awesome job from start till finish. Shout out to Mr. Logan, who done a wonderful job with the sermon, talking about agape love, which is the love of God and how we are supposed to exhibit that love back to people, and not just talk the talk, man. We got a lot of people out there saying we love Jesus and Jesus is Lord and Jesus is so good and church is good, and it's like, yeah, but you're still really nasty to people, and like you're really nasty on Facebook, and you're causing a lot more division and strife and heartache and pain than bringing people together and bridging gaps and having conversations,
I can worship Jesus on Sunday and then immediately after go cuss out no McDonald's employee right, my big chicken being
absolutely, yeah, they didn't put no cheese on it, So, like, he done a great job, I feel like, of breaking down the gospel and just showing different ways that you could exhibit the love of God to people. And I feel like that was a message that he needed, that he needed to preach and we needed to hear. And I told him afterwards, it was really funny because, he was really beating himself down. He's like, man, it was only 10 or 15 minutes, and he's like, man, I just, I should have done more and I should have done this. And I was like, man, listen, kids your age, bro, they're preaching to 5 people in a youth group on Wednesday nights, to the same age of people. I was like, we threw you up there in front of 110 people, just mean mugging you for 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, you handled it like a champ, and he did a great job. And like I said, just really super proud of our kids, man. The work that they've been putting in, the people that's been pouring into them on Wednesday nights, Andrea, Megan, Tammy, whoever else has been in there just working with them and doing stuff, man. So thankful for people stepping up and just really pouring into our young people because, like we said from the stage on Sunday, for them to be the future, they have to be a part of right now. Mm-hmm. And Nick, if we're kind of stepping over them just so we can quote unquote have church, on Sundays and not really get them involved, but yet talk about, oh, they're the future, Well, what's going to happen is that somewhere down the line we're going to die, and we've not prepared them for the future. And it goes back to that, that Judges 2:10, where it's like, hey, and there arose a generation who did not know Israel, and it's like, or who did not know God. I'm sorry, and the works that He had done for Israel. And, like, if we don't include them in services and in situations now, that's going on in the church, if they don't see us worship and see us pray and see us preach and us sing and, things like that, then, how do we expect them to carry on a service 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And then it's like, oh, it's not my problem. I'm dead and gone, but that's a selfish way to look at things, and I mean, we really have to start getting our kids involved, right?
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest things that hit me, as I was doing this, was a couple things, that's been hitting me a little bit more about getting involved in like a youth ministry, something like that lately, and I think that was...
So we're starting youth next Sunday, right?
Next Sunday. So we need to get some youth before we can start it next Sunday.
Bro, I told you we got all kinds of them, I'm just saying.
Work it out.
All right, there you go.
But, I think it's, again, though, it was further confirmation, like, hey, this is where we need to be going. We need to be, further investing in the younger people. I'd love to be able, because, where Logan started is already light years beyond how so many people start. And kind of being able to kind of maybe even help him move forward and make him, help him grow, is very important. And it's like we've talked about, so many times that, what matters is progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
And you have to start somewhere and you're going to build on that, from, here on out. And I think I'm excited to be a part of that. And I'm hoping that, eventually it's going to grow, into, where we were able to do this, more than just once, we're having this kids type service, more repetitively. Yeah. I think it'd be really great. I think it was something that stood out a lot. I think that was, as far as like Facebook went, I think we have more shares about this kids service takeover.
It was the last time I checked, it was 39 shares, man, which is really amazing. I mean,
it really is. It really is. I was like, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, we've had some videos like back whenever COVID was just coming around, and we were trying to get really crazy outside of the box ideas, to broadcast service in different places and stuff. Like we had some videos that had some, close to 2,000 views on it. And I mean, to some people that might hear that, they're like, nah, that ain't that many. But I mean, for, a church just coming up, in small town, Hogtown, I mean, that's pretty good, and, for us to just hit 39, 40 shares, I mean, it could be more now. But I mean, that's amazing that so many people thought that service went so well that they were like, yo, you need to take a look at this. And, it might just be me, Nick, but I feel like that God is creating a buzz around our church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like not only, were things shared more often, I'd say we had quite a few people invited to church and show up for the first time.
Right.
Just to see the kids, you know, and again, you plant a seed somehow or another, however it gets planted, it's planted. But, I think it's definitely going to lead to more growth, from here on out, just because, I do believe God's going to reward us for planting those seeds with our children and putting them up there and, making this more of a regular thing. extremely regular, but where the kids can handle it. We don't want to overwhelm
keep your place.
We don't want to overwhelm them.
You ain't every Sunday, but So, and honestly, and I've talked to a couple of people about. I've really felt led just to kind of maybe gear something towards Christmas, with the kids, trying to involve the kids back into Christmas, like, taking a Sunday to do another children's service. I said, what better way to tell the birth of Jesus than through a child, and just kind of do something like that. So.
Yeah, we all watch Charlie Brown.
This is true, man. I don't even know they may have took Charlie Brown off the air by now. I don't know. But anyway, so be on the lookout for that for sure. And speaking of growth and speaking of, good things to come and what's around the corner, man, next Sunday, or this Sunday actually, we are having our 5-year celebration service, man. And Nick, I tell you, man, that means, I don't even know if I can really put it into words. I'll be honest with you. I struggle with that. I'm struggling like what you started out with at the very beginning, where it's like I don't really know how to describe the way I'm feeling. It's the same way, honestly, man, because we've put a lot of hard work into this, and a lot of dedication, and a lot of long hours. And as we continue to grow, man, we're starting to feel even more avenues, go different places, do different things. Man, I would not change or take anything back over the last 5 years, but so we're having our 5-year celebration service of just being a ministry, being Fruition Church this Sunday, and we've come a long way from the 8 in the backyard, from David Koresh style. We've come a long way from those times, and but God has blessed us, taken care of us, provided for us, even through the hardships and the hard times. Man, God's been there, and I'm so thankful for that. But Nick, just take a few seconds here before I get all emotional and stuff with my protein cookie here and cry on it or something. Just take a few seconds, man. I know you've come into the game, a little bit later because it just took you some time to figure out that Fruition was the best place to be. But just talk to me, man, about kind of like what not just the ministry, but just the church, the people. The atmosphere, how you've really grown, man, over the last year and a half, Yeah,
and I mean, like you said, I joined in a little bit late. I've only been going for about 2 years.
Yeah. You're not as super safe as I am.
Yeah, I'm not quite there, but we're getting there. I'm still more super safe than most people. But, but anyway. But again, it's been great, and it's funny because like I've had so many times in the past where I was like, God was drawing me there, but again, like most people, I just refuse to listen.
Absolutely, man. We've been there for real.
But yeah, and it's just again, God was like, hey, go there. I remember back when I started a job at GameStop, and I was potentially going to miss church at my normal church on Sundays, and I was like, well, I could start going there on Sunday nights. I could go to Fruition. It's right there in Hodgenville. I told myself that over and over again, never ended up doing it, but then of course COVID hit, and that didn't help anything either.
Right.
But again, God's been drawing me there, I think, really for a lot longer than I would even admit. But it's been going on and on. But just the growth. I think I made the transition, of course, at the perfect time. As far as in my Christian walk, even as far as where my faith was and where I was learning and really growing with Christ. And it really, I think, I hit my stride, and especially when I came into Fruition, it just really took off even more. God's been using me in a lot of different ways that I never thought possible. Never ever thought possible. And I always think back to small little things every once in a while. And it's just like back when I was really little, and I used to pretend preach with my little brother in the living room, and I was like, I'll never do this in a million years for actual people. Was he crying and was like, like, dude, just let this be over? Yeah, he was the one who wanted me to do it. So,
okay. Well, hey, there you go, man.
I just thinking back doing that, I was like, God, 12 or something like that. I was like, oh, I'll never do anything like this, and being at my parents' church, imagining, like when I would look at someone and how they would worship and be like, I want to be there. And now that I'm actually able to be there in my walk, when I'm worshiping, and, it's great. The growth that I've seen in my own life at Fruition and in other lives as well. It's awesome to be a part of the kingdom. It's awesome to be actually doing things rather than being that person who just sits in the pew and tries not to be noticed on a regular basis.
Right.
I think a lot of us have had that motion or that time in our life as far as our Christian walk went. But
I think sometimes we need that. Sometimes we do need to blend in and kind of reset and do things like that, man, and just kind of get our feet underneath us, and then we need to take off from there, But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we talk about with growth, is just continually growing, seeing where we can go from here, where we can keep going and keep growing, and, trying to find where there's needs and trying to, utilize those and you make sure that things work out as best as they can. And,
we have so many needs,
right.
man. We do, for real, like no joke, like we need more space. It's like you would think that a building that seat 500, you would need more space. What? Like, are y'all that big? We're not that big yet. But, the space that we have for our kids, and that's one thing about it, man, we've got a lot of kids. Like, it is insane how many kids we have. And we have, like, 2 rooms devoted to these kids. And it's like, that's not working out, man. Like we're fixing to overrun those 2 rooms, so we definitely need more space. But go ahead with the rest, man. With the needs.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's with growth, as we're going into year 5, just the inklings that you've already spoken, that I've heard and we've talked about, just the growth that's going to happen in just this next year alone is going to be insane.
Right.
And just speaking that out of faith, and so I'm very excited to see where we go from here and where this next, where this 5th year is going to bring us. And what we're going to see and, what we're going to experience and what God's going to do. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. I think anybody listening to this, if you're not already a part of it, is going to want to be a part of it.
I hope so.
And if not, God will convict you. You will want
or
to be
we
a
didn't
part
hype
of
it up good enough. One of the two, man. I don't know.
We need to start commercials out on TV, like Monster Truck Monday.
I was going to say we need a Ferris wheel somewhere in the background, man, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But, and again, when God does provide us with, a permanent foundation, permanent building, and the ability to, expand Children's Church and expand our opportunities. I think it's really going to take off even more than we've seen so far. And like I said, I'm very excited to see. And of course, I know you know more about it than I would because again, you've been there the whole time. But and
I've never missed a Sunday, bro. I can throw stones at everybody. No, I have missed one Sunday out of the 5 years, and I still blame that on my wife to this day for that. So, anyways, but we're going into year 5. I would love to say that it's been rainbows and buttercups and all that good stuff. But, with ministry, man, ministry gets messy because you're dealing with people day in and day out. You deal with hardships. We've dealt with a lot of situations over the last 5 years. And, and it's like, this is just me being transparent and being, just a person in general. Take the pastor hat off and stuff like that. But, there's been times, man, that I sit back and I'm like, my God, like, is it worth it? Is it? I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm, my mind's going in 1,000 different places. I ain't seen my family all day. Like, I'm working, 40, 50 hours a week at a regular job and then pulling all this weight at the church too and doing this and that, and it's like, sometimes you're looking and going, man, is it really worth it? And then, it's like every time you ask that question, Nick, something happens. You know what I'm saying? There's a moment, there's a situation, there's a person who needs Christ, needs hope, needs faith, needs love. And God works through you to get that done, and then the look on their face as you explain who God is and what God can do. And like we were just talking before this come on, like, this lady that I've not seen in years, sends a message asking me something about the Bible, my opinion on it, because she knows who we are, knows what we do, knows what we're about. And, and it's like, you find that more and more that that this woman is sending a message about something that happened in her church. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's just at one point in time that gives me hope that people see us and they're like, man, they're pretty rock solid. They're pretty biblical. They're trying to stay in lines with the Bible, but it also breaks my heart at the same time because we've got stuff like that going on in other churches where Christians are reaching out going, is this really right? Is this what we should be doing? And so if anything, man, that answers my question day in and day out of is it worth it? If we can lead people to Christ, if we can show people, and I think, Nick, one of the things that we do the best is that we simplify the gospel. We We don't put a lot of fluff around it. We don't put a lot of $10 words, as I say, into the mix. I think it's pretty simple and straightforward. Love people. Show people the love of Christ. Show people grace. Remember where God found you at. And remember how God forgives you daily because you suck.
Amen.
Yeah, right. That's it, man. Because that's me simplifying the gospel. That's me just telling you straightforward. Like Jesus loves you even though you suck it up every day. And that's the gospel. We're supposed to tell more people, about how good God is and about how He will love, forgive, how He's got open arms for you. All He wants you to do is just come home. He just wants you to be a part of this big old heavenly party one day, and it's just you turning your life and your heart over to Him, and He'll take care of the rest of it, And so that sets it in motion, man, for year number 5. And, how do you see year number 5? Now, I've not said or maybe spoke to, I don't know, maybe my wife, about. I'm trying to think if I've even told her kind of like what God spoke to me about what's going to happen in this year 5. And one day when I feel like the time is right and the Spirit just, convicts me to say, Keenan, it's time for you to expose what I've told you about where this thing is heading, then I'll do that. But until then, I'm going to keep it very close-chested because I feel like that, that's what God would want me to do. But Nick, just shooting from the hip right here, you can spitball, this whole wall if you want to, wherever you want to hit at, and not be wrong, because it's just your opinion and your vision. Now, keep in mind, it will be wrong because your vision is probably going to be small. But, how do you feel, man, about this year number 5, about what's going to happen, where we're going, the things that's going to happen? I'm judging you right now with my eyes as you speak, and
I can feel it.
Yeah, right. A laser cut vision. Just how do you feel about it, man? What's going on? What's happening?
I think it's really cool. I really respect the idea of not telling because I honestly believe that there's a lot of people. Like I said, I do believe that we are a faith-believing church, but a lot of times, and you said this before, not everything is meant to be spoken. Sure. Because there are people out there who they'll hear it and they won't believe it, and that their lack of faith can kill. Something that God has planned because they're not going to believe that it's going to happen.
Right.
And I think that's what's also, important to remember, as far as what, I expect to see, over the next year, I definitely expect to see, more butts in seats, as we say. I do expect to see a growth.
Pack the pews, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to pack a Bible that had it on the front. My brother got it for me. Shout out to my bro. But he had got me a Bible as a gift because that's what you get a pastor all the time, right? You just get him a Bible.
What else do you get?
I'm like, do y'all tell me that I need Jesus more? I've got 27 Bibles as gifts, but either way. But yeah, he put a message on the front of it, says pack the pews, and that's been our mission from day one, was to pack the pews, not just to have a big church, but to do the Great Commission, and that is go into all the world, make disciples, tell people about Jesus, and I think you need people to do that, Yeah. But go ahead.
Just as a whole, again, just seeing more people, there in the seats. I definitely like to see or expect to see more involvement. Finding not necessarily just people to pack the seats, but serving people to pack the seats.
Absolutely.
People who are actually going to step up and humble themselves and serve and do what needs to be done in order to help, because that's something we're definitely going to need. I think if we start seeing more and more people come in, we're going to see more and more people needing to teach, needing to guide, needing to worship, needing to do whatever
Absolutely.
else. Because God, there's churches in Hodgenville right now running 3, 4, 5 services. And they're not going to have as many people as we're going to have.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know we're going to need that. We're going to need people to pray over that. We're going to need people to invite people to church for the love of God, and get people in there. And I think it's going to happen. I think there's people that we've been praying over to get into church that are going to come into church. I think there's, we're going to be rewarded, as servants for what we're doing in the church and what we're allowing to see happen in the church. I think we're going to see family members saved and set free. We're going to see people, healed and delivered, and we're going to see success, financially. God, please. And then, we're going to see, Yeah, and I think it's just there's a lot there's a lot of things that we're gonna be that we've been praying for a long time. I think that we're gonna finally come to fruition.
Are we gonna find $10,000 in the bathroom wall?
Hey, if we were Joel Osteen, maybe somebody in Hodgenville, years ago decided, hey, I'm gonna hide some money in a wall back here. And
I will tell you a blessing really quick, and I just found this out this morning actually. Our quote unquote / secretary. We don't really have job titles at Fruition. I just want to let you know that. But so just to kind of I'll just say the person who handles the money, you know what I'm saying? Had literally made a phone call this morning, Nick. And one thing that we've really been promoting at our church is camera change. With basically, hey, if you got quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, whatever, any kind of loose change, drop it in this water jar. When we get to 5,000, we're able to buy a couple of new upgraded cameras. To go along with the system, man, and try to just make, the views better at home. Lady called me this morning and she said, I just want to let you know that we got a check for the camera system today for $1,000.
Well, amen.
Amen, right? And it's like, she's like, so do you want me to go get $1,000 worth of coins?
Give me $1,000 worth of pennies now.
And I was like, man.
We're going to make a sermon out of this.
Right, exactly, man. And so, I was like, maybe just go get 10 100s or something, and put them down in there, whatever the case is. But, Nick, that's how I know, man. That's how I know without a shadow of it. And people are like, oh, so you're about the money. No, I'm not about the money. I'm about people being obedient to the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to write a $1,000 check, not even as a tithe or an offering, as part of a movement we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know we're going to be all right, man, because God is sending people who are obedient to the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Not even with just money, but I'm talking about people who are willing to help, people who are willing to serve, people who are willing to give, people who are, that's what makes me the most proud. It's not the money. It's not the checks. It's not what makes me the most proud is that people go, all right, God, like you said it, so I'm going to do it.
It's not like people are given to fruition; they're given to God.
Absolutely.
I think that's
Thank you for clarifying that. Absolutely,
I think that's something that's important. And I have friends who are turned away from church because of the money thing. I think it's important to them that we handle our money the way that we do, and and I'm hoping that eventually it'll shove them into church someday.
Right.
But I think it's important to know that when you're given to the church, when you're given to fruition, you're not giving to the church. You're giving to the wider church, like the whole.
Absolutely.
The people who
you're
are in
expanding
need.
the gospel, expanding the kingdom of God.
Exactly. We're just giving to God what's His. He owns everything you have anyway. You wouldn't have anything if not for Him. I think we've been reminded of that over the last couple of years about how many times God has taken things away from us to remind us that hey, I gave you that. I can take it away just as easy.
Right.
And just remembering that, we're honoring God with the money, we're honoring God with our service and what we're going to provide. This camera system isn't for us. There's a lot of things we would probably rather use that money for, but we want to make sure that those people who can't make it to church, those people who are, a little curious about our church, people who don't want to, just show up in one day, we want to make sure they have a better experience to be able to watch what's going on online without having to see grainy footage or bright, crazy, weird camera, exposure, all that kind of stuff, and be able to actually hear us for once. That would also be important.
That is true too.
And again, that's, all God working, to make sure that there are lost people out there. I really, truly believe, we've seen it, we've seen people that we've reached through this podcast, that have started coming to fruition and have started giving more and started helping more. And, we've seen people who have, contacted us who are in need, via email, and people who want to give. We just had somebody, offer to give out some school supplies via email, this week.
That's an awesome thing too.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. And I think it's, awesome. We got churches, in Hodgenville and other areas, who are helping out with the thing over in eastern Kentucky as well. And like I said, there's a lot going on that we were able to have our hands in because God wants us to have our hands in it.
And that's what, man, the crazy part, and I'll say this really quick, is that I've had probably, and I'm still trying to work on it, so y'all don't give up on me yet, but I've had like 5 or 6 different people to reach out, and they're like, are you guys going to do anything? Are you guys going to do anything? Because I think people know, that we do so much as it is. And it's like, are you going to do anything? And I'm like, man, I see all these different people, all these different churches, like doing stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't know, should we not? Like, I get it. I don't, like, there's so much going on. But I think that's just a testament a lot of times to, just being a church in general, but also being a giving church, is that people expect that, people remember the semi trailer, that we parked up there at City Hall for like 2 weeks, loaded it up and took it to North Carolina for the hurricane victims. People still remember that, and they're like, hey, look, like, are you going to do that again? And I'm like, well, who knows? We'll figure it out. But, I think that's just a testament, man, as to what we've been able to accomplish. And, so anything else that you'd like to add on your vision really quick, Nick? We're creeping into the 30-minute space, man, the comfort zone of where most people like to say, all right, that's enough for today.
Yeah, no, for all those people who've managed to listen in, even though we're not repeating what Keenan said on Sunday, I'm very excited for, even what I'm going to do. I really do believe that God's been testing my faith, testing a lot in my own life recently, and getting me prepared for what he's going to use me to do in this next year. And so I'm very excited to see what he's going to do, and just my life, but in the lives of those around me as well. My wife's life, and
mine too.
Yours, yes. I'm praying for an end to the challenges, and all that good
Thank
stuff,
you, sir,
right?
man.
But I do foresee great things, and of course, great things don't come without a couple challenges, which we've definitely experienced lately. So. We're praying for no more challenges,
right,
but we're coming out of them.
Right,
we're
right.
coming out of them, but I think great things are going to come. I think we're going to see answered prayers very shortly. I think we're going to see great things coming soon. So, again, if you're not going to Fruition, if you're not checking us out, definitely give us a shot. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on some great things over this next year. And so, I can't wait to see that you're a part of it, and because I know I'm excited to be a part of it.
Right, absolutely, man. And just to kind of throw my spin on it without revealing all of what God has said, man, I'm so excited to turn Hodgenville upside down, man. I'm so excited to stand up and say, you know what, like, I'm thankful that God didn't throw in the towel on us. I'm thankful through ministry that we've been able to reach so many, but yet there's still so many more, man. I'm thankful for the things that are going to happen, for the things that are going to take place, for the walls that are coming down, for the prodigals that are coming home. I'm just thankful for all of that, and I'm thankful, man, that our outreach is going to be greater than what we're doing right now. We're getting emails from people, in the state of Kentucky, on the western side of Kentucky, that says, I need help. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we were able to help that gentleman and his family. I think it's going to be bigger than that, Nick, this next year. I think it's going to be awesome, man. I know we're already in different states with the podcast. I know we're already in different countries. I think it's still going to be bigger than that. I just think, man, that there is some crazy things that are on the way, and that if we can be in one mind, one accord, believing in these things, man, that that the sky's the limit. He's a big God, and he's got some big plans. And I always say that God is as big as what you make him. And I'm believing for some crazy stuff, and so I think we're going to serve a big God this year. And year number 5, the number 5 is for grace, and I think we're going to need a lot of grace this year, because we're going to be crazy. We're going to be doing some crazy stuff that we're going to learn from along the way too, man. Just like anytime you grow, you got to have grace when you grow. It's a good title. Good job, Keenan. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, right. You got to have grace when you grow, man. And we're going to do some stuff wrong. We're going to have to figure out, the most efficient way and effective way. But I'm just excited about it, man. So, I'm going to let you just kind of, I usually don't end it, man. It feels weird. So I want to bounce it back to you just really quick, just to say something, and then, I can drop us on out of here. But what do you think about it, man? I know you've already put your spin on it. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see, where this goes, where God takes us over this next year. Like you said, we're going to need grace. We're going to do things. We're going to try things, because if we don't try them, then again, if you're not moving forward, you're just sitting there rolling backwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're going to try things, and it may not always be the right thing, because we're human. We mess up. But, again, that's why we need God's grace for, because he's going to use our efforts and turn it into something amazing. So I'm very excited to see that. And I'm very excited for, because God, again, like you said, God's brought you from, just a few people in a backyard all the way to where we're at now, where we're at over 100 people on the regular.
Right.
In service on Sundays, we're able to give to people across the state. We're able to be, a light. Like I said, we're in multiple different states, multiple different countries, with the podcast, with the website, and, with the YouTube and all this stuff. And, we've been able to reach a wide range of people, and I'm excited to see more and more people. I'm excited to where I'm going to be getting enough emails that I'm going to be sitting here like, oh my God, like what's going on?
Can I get a full-time job at Fruition? I'm just saying, Does it come with insurance and benefits?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. I'm excited, because I believe we're going to hit that point, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to happen. We're going to get to that point where we're going to be able to really reach the gospel, and again, it's not about the money, it's not about the titles, it's not about the fame, it's about reaching people, saving souls.
Yep.
Because again, if you have a platform, that's even better, because you can reach more people, not because of look at me, look at what I've done. It's about reaching more people, because if you have a bigger platform, if you have a higher platform, you can reach and see and achieve more things.
Absolutely.
So we're excited to see where God's going to take us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for closing us out like that, man. Now I feel like we're back to normal.
Yeah, there we go.
I feel like we're back to normal. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode. I don't even know what we're going to call this episode. What, 5?
A look ahead.
Yeah, right. There you go, man. So we hope you've enjoyed this, and just kind of get the I guess you could say, like, the inward look as to who we are, what we're about, the things that are going to happen. We hope that we've hyped up Year 5 enough that, like Nick said, if you're not a part of who we are and you want to be a part of it, there's always ways to connect in, and you can come grow with us as well. And so, as always, check us out again on Facebook, Fruition Church, YouTube, Fruition Church of Hodgenville. You can always check out our website at www.fruitionchurchky.org, or you can always download the podcast, The Everyday Christian, across all available platforms. If you don't have anything to do this Sunday, 11:15 a.m., 200 South Lincoln Boulevard, Hodgenville, Kentucky, show up, hang out with us, and see what God has done in 5 years and what he plans to do in the next 5 years. We love you, and be blessed.